She's losing sleep over you, but will never admit it. Stoic life lessons. Stoicism. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop chasing, things start falling into place? That's no coincidence. It's a shift in power. Right now you might feel stuck, replaying every text, every moment, wondering what went wrong. But what if I told you she's losing sleep over you, and she'll never admit it? This is where most men make the fatal mistake. They beg, they chase, they try to fix what's already broken. But not you. You're here to embrace the power of stoic detachment, to walk away, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, completely. You're about to become the kind of man she regrets losing. But more importantly, you're going to do it for you. No more seeking validation, no more overanalyzing, no more waiting for closure. True strength comes from within, and the moment you reclaim it, the tables turn. Are you ready to step into your power? Hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. I release what I cannot control. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Pain is temporary, weakness is a choice. Pain is temporary, but weakness is a choice. Right now it hurts, and that's okay, because pain is a teacher, and how you respond to it defines the man you become. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The truth is, she may not regret her decision now, but eventually she will. When she sees the man you've become, the man who no longer seeks her validation, the man who has outgrown the very version of himself she left behind. But here's the catch. You don't transform for her. You do it for yourself. This is where most men stumble, confusing growth with performance, thinking that if they just improve enough, she'll come back. But a Stoic understands that the goal isn't to win her back, it's to win yourself back. This is the essence of Stoic life lessons. To detach from what is beyond your control and cultivate unshakable inner strength. Pain feels unbearable today, but a year from now it will be a distant memory. Think about every hardship you've survived. At the time, it felt like the end of the world, but here you are. That's proof that pain is not permanent. It's a process, a refining fire that, if used correctly, will sculpt you into a man of resilience, wisdom, and undeniable presence. Seneca put it best: difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. The real question isn't whether you'll feel pain, because you will. Every great man has suffered, but the strong use suffering as a tool. Look at history. Every legend, every leader, every icon you respect has been through fire. The difference is, they used that fire to forge themselves into something indestructible. Theodore Roosevelt lost his mother and wife on the same day, yet he chose to become a force of nature instead of a broken man. Nelson Mandela endured 27 years in prison, yet he emerged a greater leader than before. These men had every reason to give up, to become bitter, to let their circumstances define them. But they chose strength over weakness, discipline over despair. The same choice is in front of you. This isn't about proving anything to her. It's about proving to yourself that you are unbreakable, that your value was never dependent on her presence, and that your happiness isn't dictated by someone else's decision. If you need further proof, just look at the modern dating landscape. Desperation repels, but confidence attracts. The more you chase, the faster she runs. The more you beg, the more she withdraws. Why? Because when you seek validation from someone who has already walked away, you confirm their decision. You make it easy for them to never look back. But when you embody detachment, self-improvement, and silent strength, you become the man she thought didn't exist. And make no mistake, she will feel the shift. When she realizes that you are no longer waiting, no longer seeking, no longer broken by her absence, that's when the tables turn. But here's the crucial lesson. You don't do this to make her regret losing you. You do this to become the kind of man who never needs to rely on external validation again. This is what is Stoicism truly teaches. Not to chase, not to pine, but to cultivate the kind of internal power that makes you immune to loss. It starts with discipline. You wake up early. You train your body because physical strength breeds mental strength. You read. You build your mind because a man who controls his thoughts controls his destiny. You invest in your purpose, your mission, because nothing is more attractive, more magnetic than a man consumed by something greater than himself. And most importantly, you stop chasing ghosts. No more scrolling through old messages, no more replaying past conversations, no more obsessing over what she's doing or who she's with. Because every second spent in the past is a second wasted in your future. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, and that includes the past." You don't heal by waiting for closure. You don't heal by hoping she'll wake up one day and regret everything. You heal by taking action, by stepping fully into the highest version of yourself. The moment you stop needing her, the moment you truly let go, is the moment she starts wondering why you don't. That's the paradox of power. The less you seek it from others, the more it comes to you. And that's exactly why you must never let heartbreak define you. Instead, let it refine you. Let it strip away every weakness, every insecurity, every ounce of neediness, and leave you with nothing but pure, undeniable strength. Number 2, the silent power of disappearance. Silence is a weapon, and right now, it's the most powerful one you have. When a woman walks away, most men panic. They blow up her phone, send double texts, overanalyze every word, and obsess over what went wrong, thinking if they just say the right thing, they can fix what's already broken. The more you chase, the further she runs. She expects a reaction. She expects you to crumble, to beg, to prove that she still holds power over your emotions. And when you do, you validate her decision to leave. But what happens when you do the opposite? When you go completely silent, when you remove yourself entirely? That's when everything changes. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, Seneca once said. And right now, in her mind, silence isn't just an absence. It's uncertainty. It's a void she wasn't prepared for. Because people don't crave the things they have. They crave what they believe they're losing. And the longer the silence stretches, the louder it gets inside her head. Because the human brain hates uncertainty. When someone makes a choice, they subconsciously seek confirmation that it was the right one. When you chase, you give her that validation. She knows she still has you, that she was right to leave. But when you disappear, that certainty is ripped away. Now she's left with an open question. Why isn't he chasing me? And that question is more powerful than any words you could ever say. Because now, instead of being the man who begged, you become the man who vanished. And trust me, people don't forget those who disappear without explanation. Most men think silence is weakness. They believe if they don't fight for her, if they don't prove their love, they'll lose her forever. But the truth is, if your silence makes her forget you, then she was never truly yours to begin with. A woman only values what she fears losing. And the moment she realizes she doesn't have your attention anymore, she starts craving it. This is human nature. It's not manipulation, it's psychology. Look at how people behave in relationships, in business, in friendships. What's rare is valuable. What's readily available is taken for granted. That's why the man who detaches, the man who doesn't seek validation, who doesn't chase, commands more respect than the one who does. Because he operates from a place of strength, not need. And that strength is magnetic. You're not using silence as a tactic to manipulate her emotions. You're using it to reclaim your own. Because the second you stop reaching, stop waiting, stop caring, that's when you become free. And ironically, that's when the dynamic shifts. Because the absence of your attention creates a void that no amount of distraction can fill. Social media, new relationships, external validation, none of it truly replaces what was once effortlessly given. And that's where regret begins. Not because you forced it, but because you refused to play the game. Stoic happiness isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself. And when you master yourself, when you detach from the need for external validation, you become the kind of man who doesn't just attract attention, you command it. But let's be clear, this isn't just about making her regret leaving. This is about you reclaiming your peace. Because peace is what allows you to think clearly. It's what allows you to focus on what actually matters, your goals, your health, your purpose. Most men waste months, even years, stuck in an emotional loop, waiting for closure that never comes. But real closure doesn't come from someone else. It comes from within. The moment you realize that nothing outside of you should dictate your inner peace is the moment you take your power back. If you're ready to reclaim control, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications and comment below. My silence speaks louder than words, because from this moment forward, you are no longer the man who begs for attention. You are the man who becomes untouchable. And that, my friend, is the true Stoic mindset. Number 3, emotional mastery equals ultimate attraction. The most dangerous man in the room is not the one who shouts the loudest, not the one who throws punches, nor the one who desperately tries to prove his worth. The most dangerous man is the one who remains unmoved, the one who carries himself with quiet strength, unaffected by chaos, rejection, or loss. This is the man who understands that emotional mastery is the foundation of power. Right now, she expects you to lose control. She expects you to break down, to spiral into desperation, to let your emotions dictate your every action. But what happens when you don't? What happens when you stand firm, composed, and unshaken in the face of loss? That's when you become someone she can't ignore. Because in a world where most men are slaves to their emotions, a man who controls his own mind is a rarity. And rarities are always valuable. Win Stoic. This is what high-value men do. They don't react, they respond. They don't beg, they walk away. They don't crumble under pressure, they thrive in it. Look around you. How many men do you see who are controlled by their emotions? They let anger drive them to impulsive actions. Let sadness make them beg for closure. Let loneliness push them into desperate attempts to win back a woman who has already left. And what does that do? It makes them weak. It strips them of respect. Women are repulsed by emotional weakness, not because they lack empathy, but because deep down they crave stability. They are drawn to men who are strong, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. And the rarest form of strength is the ability to feel pain without reacting to it. The ability to be centered no matter what happens outside of you, to remain solid while the world around you shakes. When you show her that her absence does not destroy you, when you continue to live, to thrive, to build without hesitation, that's when the power dynamic shifts. Because she expected you to suffer, but instead you became stronger. She expected you to seek her validation, but instead you found validation within yourself. And that is what makes a man irresistible. This is why Stoicism is so powerful. The Stoics didn't deny emotions, they simply refused to be ruled by them. They understood that true strength lies in control. You will feel pain, you will feel disappointment, but you will not be a victim to those emotions. Instead, you will harness them. You will use them as fuel. And when a man reaches that level of control, when he no longer needs external validation, when he no longer reacts to the whims of others, he becomes magnetic. Women sense it. They can feel when a man is no longer controlled by his feelings, when he is not seeking approval, when he is completely at peace within himself. And that is the type of man they crave, because the truth is, they don't want to be your source of strength, they want to be drawn into it. They don't want to be the center of your world, they want to orbit around it. And only men who have mastered their emotions, who have developed the Stoic mindset, can command that level of presence. So right now you have a choice. Let your emotions destroy you or let them refine you. Most men will crumble under heartbreak, they will drown in their pain, they will let it consume them. But you will use it as a forge. You will let it sharpen you into something unbreakable, because this is what separates the weak from the strong, the ones who suffer and stay the same, and the ones who suffer and evolve. This is how you become dangerous, not by forcing, not by chasing, not by proving anything to anyone, but by mastering yourself so completely that no one's actions can shake your foundation. That is what Win Stoic truly means. That is how you become high value. So tell me, are you ready to let go of the man who is ruled by emotion? Are you ready to become something greater? If the answer is yes, then stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking closure. Stop reacting. Instead, stand firm, move forward, and let the world feel your presence. Not through noise, but through silent, undeniable strength. If you're ready to become unshakable, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I control my emotions. They don't control me, because from this moment forward, you are no longer the man who chases, who pleads, who waits. You are the man who leads, who builds, who thrives. And that, my friend, is the essence of a truly powerful man. If you've made it this far, you're already stepping into your power. Drop a comment saying, "I choose myself," to show you're committed to growth, self-respect, and living by Stoic life lessons. Stay tuned. This is just the beginning of your transformation. Win Stoic. Number 4. When you stop caring, they start chasing. Here's a hard truth that most men struggle to accept. Women don't chase men who need them. They chase men who don't care. Right now, she believes she holds all the power. She assumes you're still checking her social media, still replaying old conversations in your head, still hoping she'll come back. The moment a woman is convinced she has you under control, the tension that fuels attraction dies. It's human nature. People only value what they might lose, and they take for granted what is freely given. But the moment you stop caring, the moment you let go completely, something shifts. She starts to feel it. She begins to wonder if she miscalculated, if she overestimated her ability to keep you in emotional limbo. She starts asking herself questions. Did I make a mistake? Why isn't he chasing? Why does he seem so unaffected? And those thoughts, those tiny seeds of doubt, grow into something much more powerful, curiosity, which often turns into obsession. This is the core principle of Stoic life lessons. Detachment breeds power, emotional control creates attraction, and the man who walks away with certainty commands respect. If you think about it, attraction has always been built on tension. The push and pull, the uncertainty, the possibility of something slipping away. The moment that dynamic is gone, when a woman knows she has you on standby, she loses interest. That's why men who chase, who constantly seek validation, who overinvest in proving their worth, always lose. They smother the very tension that made them desirable in the first place. But the man who moves forward without hesitation, the man who doesn't dwell on the past, the man who radiates the energy of, I do not need you to be whole, he becomes a mystery, and mystery is magnetic. He becomes a challenge. And in that challenge, he becomes valuable again. Because in the end, the things that require effort, that seem just out of reach, that spark curiosity, those are the things we want the most. It's no different in relationships. This is why what is Stoicism is so crucial to grasp. The Stoics understood that emotional attachment to external circumstances, including people, is a recipe for suffering. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. You suffer not because she left, but because you continue to place your sense of worth in her hands. Take it back. Let's break it down further. When you care too much, when you anxiously wait for her to come around, you radiate neediness. And nothing is more unattractive than neediness. It's not about playing games or pretending to be aloof. It's about recognizing that you should never place your sense of happiness in someone else's approval. She cannot desire what she already possesses. The thrill of the chase, the excitement of uncertainty, the value of something that feels rare, all of that disappears the moment you become predictable. So the solution is simple. Stop waiting, stop hoping, stop caring. The men who understand this concept don't waste months or years in limbo, obsessing over what went wrong. They walk away with certainty, without resentment, without looking back. They move forward with their lives because they understand that no woman, no situation should ever hold that much power over their emotional state. And if she regrets leaving, that's her burden to carry, not yours. It's not your job to prove your worth. It's not your mission to show her what she lost. If she comes back, she comes back. If she doesn't, then she was never meant to stay. Either way, you win. Because the real victory isn't in getting her back. It's in becoming the kind of man who doesn't need her back. That is true power. That is what Stoic life lessons teach you. To master yourself so completely that no one's actions can dictate your peace. To detach from things outside of your control, to walk away when respect is no longer being served, and to never, ever beg for what should be freely given. If you're ready to step into your power, then do this. Stop checking her social media. Stop wondering if she'll come back. Stop caring. Focus on yourself. Build something greater. Strengthen your mind, your body, your purpose. Because when you do, you will see the shift, not just in her, but in everything around you. You will become the man who doesn't wait, who doesn't beg, who doesn't look backward, but instead walks boldly into his future. And that, my friend, is the man she will chase. Number 5. They can feel when you move on. Energy doesn't lie. Whether she admits it or not, she can feel when you've truly moved on. Right now, she assumes you're still stuck, still checking her social media, still replaying old conversations, still lying in bed at night wondering if she'll come back. And as long as she believes that, she feels comfortable. She has no reason to second-guess her decision because she knows she still holds a place in your mind. But the moment your energy shifts, the moment you genuinely stop caring, that's when everything changes. Suddenly, she starts questioning. There's a reason why exes randomly text you months later. It's not always because they miss you, but because they can feel that you no longer miss them. And that realization triggers something powerful inside them: loss. Seneca once said, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." The moment you free yourself from suffering over the past, the moment you release the emotional weight, she senses it, and that's when the tables turn. Loss is one of the strongest psychological motivators. People don't value what they have, they value what they think they're losing. When she subconsciously realizes that your energy is no longer focused on her, it unsettles her. She starts to wonder, why hasn't he reached out? Why does he seem so happy? Is he seeing someone else? And those thoughts, they keep her up at night. Here's where most men fail. They fake moving on. They pretend to be happy. They post carefully curated photos just to get her attention. They try to make her jealous, hoping to manipulate her into feeling something. But women are highly intuitive. They can sense when your actions are genuine and when they're forced. That's why true power doesn't come from pretending. It comes from actually letting go. The second you stop checking her stories, stop looking for signs, stop wondering what she's doing, that's the moment she feels it. Because your energy is no longer trapped in the past, it's free. And when a man is free, he becomes untouchable. In the context of modern life, how many men do you know who stay emotionally stuck for years, orbiting around a woman who has long since moved on? They say they're over her, but their actions betray them. They hesitate to date again, they find themselves stalking her online, they compare every new woman they meet to her. They stay prisoners of the past. But the men who truly move forward, they flourish, they build. They don't just replace her with another woman, they replace the void with purpose, with strength, with life. And ironically, that's when their exes start resurfacing. Not because of any game playing or social media tactics, but because emotional detachment is felt. This is why Stoicism today is so crucial to understand. It's not about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. It's about understanding that your peace is more valuable than anyone's validation, and that when you prioritize your inner world over external approval, you become truly powerful. The man who waits, who watches, who lingers in emotional purgatory will always lose. But the man who moves, who redirects his energy towards something greater than a single relationship, he wins every time. By the time she starts wondering if she made a mistake, by the time she realizes you're no longer waiting in the shadows, she will come face to face with the truth. The version of you that was waiting no longer exists, and that is the ultimate power shift. So no, you're not looking back anymore. You're not waiting for a text, not hoping for closure, not clinging to the past. You are stepping into your highest self, walking a path where your value is defined by you and not by the attention of someone who once left. That is what Stoic mindset truly means. Being the kind of man who commands respect, not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. If you're ready to fully detach, step into your power and never look back, then let it be known. Number 6. The only apology you need is success. She doesn't need an apology. She doesn't need a long-winded message telling her you've changed. She doesn't need closure. What she needs, what she expects, is for you to stay the same, to linger in the past while she moves forward. But here's the truth. The only apology you ever need is success. The only thing that will ever shift the dynamic is not begging, not trying to make her feel guilty, not chasing closure that will never satisfy you. It's winning. It's building. It's proving, not to her but to yourself, that you are capable of becoming something so great, so powerful, so unrecognizable that she no longer has the ability to affect your world. Most men waste time trying to get even, stewing in bitterness, hoping she will feel the same pain they felt. But what they don't realize is that the best revenge isn't anger, it's indifference. And nothing screams indifference louder than a man who has leveled up so drastically that the version of himself she walked away from no longer exists. Right now, she assumes you are where she left you, still checking her social media, still wondering if she will come back, still allowing her absence to dictate your emotions. But when she sees you thriving, when she sees you becoming sharper, stronger, more successful, that's when the regret creeps in. Not because she suddenly loves you again, but because she realizes she lost something irreplaceable. It's human nature. We take for granted what we believe will always be there, but we desire what we fear we can't have. And when she sees you no longer waiting, no longer lingering, no longer looking back, that's when she starts to feel it. Or realizing that they've completely outgrown you, that their life has flourished in ways you never expected, that they've become someone you can no longer reach. That's why your focus should be on one thing and one thing only: yourself. This isn't about her anymore. It never really was. It's about you. Win Stoic. This is your moment, not to prove her wrong, not to make her jealous, but to answer the only question that truly matters. Are you ready to become the man you were always meant to be? Do not let this heartbreak turn you into someone bitter, weak, or desperate. Let it fuel your greatness. Let it push you to become more disciplined, more ambitious, more unstoppable. Turn every ounce of pain into progress, every doubt into drive, every regret into relentless action. Because one day, whether it's 6 months from now or 6 years from now, she will look back. She will wonder if she made a mistake. She will realize that while she stayed the same, you became unstoppable. And by then, you won't even care. That's the ultimate power shift. That's what it means to be a high-value man. Not a man who chases, not a man who waits, but a man who moves. So what does leveling up actually look like? It means you elevate everything: your body, your mind, your finances, your purpose. You become the kind of man who commands respect, not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. A man so focused on his own mission that he no longer seeks validation from anyone, let alone a woman who once walked away. You build the kind of life that makes you wake up excited every morning. You push yourself physically, sharpening your discipline in the gym, treating your health as the foundation of your power. You develop your mind, reading, learning, growing into the most intelligent, well-rounded version of yourself. You master your finances, securing your independence so that no one, not a woman, not a job, not anyone, can ever hold you hostage to their approval again. This is what Stoicism today looks like. Not suppressing emotions, but mastering them. Not running from pain, but using it as fuel. And if she happens to see it? If one day she stumbles across your life and realizes that you became everything she once doubted you could be, that's her burden to carry, not yours. You're not waiting for validation. You're not looking back. You're too busy winning, because at the end of the day, the only apology you will ever need is success. So the question is, are you ready to level up? Are you ready to let go of the man who waits and step into the man who moves? Because that man doesn't dwell in the past. He doesn't seek approval. He builds. He grows. He wins. Number 7. The last thing she expects you to do. She expects you to wait. She expects you to break. She expects you to linger in the past, watching her move forward while you stay stuck. That's what most men do. But you're going to do the one thing she never saw coming. You're going to disappear completely and become a ghost in her world. No texts, no reactions, no breadcrumbs. Nothing. Not because you're playing games, not because you want to manipulate her emotions, but because you've outgrown her. You've evolved beyond needing her attention, her validation, or her presence in your life. This is where most men fail. They fall into the trap of trying to prove they've moved on, posting things just to make her jealous, faking happiness, hoping she notices. But that's still giving her energy. That's still caring what she thinks. And as long as you care, she has power over you. But the moment you go completely off the radar, the moment you truly vanish from her world, that's when she feels it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And that's exactly what happens when you remain trapped in her shadow. You fail to live because you're still holding on to something that no longer serves you. Here's something most men don't understand. People are addicted to attention. Even if she doesn't want you back, she wants to know she could have you if she changed her mind. She wants to know you're still there, waiting in the shadows, an option she can return to when she pleases. But when you remove yourself completely, she loses that comfort. She loses that control. And that's when the panic sets in. She will check your profile, she will ask about you, she will wonder what you're doing, because the human mind hates unanswered questions. And the biggest question of all, why isn't he chasing me? That single thought will linger in her mind, growing louder with each passing day, not because you forced it, but because you refuse to give her what every other man does: certainty. This is where Stoic life lessons come into play. The Stoics understood that power isn't in control over others, it's in mastery of self. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And the bravest thing a man can do after heartbreak is free himself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. But here's the key. You don't do this to make her miss you. You do it to free yourself. You do it because the strongest move a man can make is to walk away without looking back. This isn't about her anymore. This is about you reclaiming your time, your energy, your focus, because every moment spent analyzing her, every second wasted wondering if she regrets her decision, is a moment stolen from your growth, your progress, your future. The second you stop playing her game, you start winning your own. And that's when you truly begin to embody the principles of what is Stoicism. Detachment from things beyond your control, mastery over your emotions, and a steadfast focus on your own path. Look at history. Great men don't chase what's lost. They build, they create, they ascend. You think Alexander the Great, Marcus Aurelius, or any powerful man of history spent his days wondering if an ex was thinking about him? No, he was too busy living. So, the real question is, are you still waiting to be chosen, or are you choosing yourself? Because there are only two kinds of men, the ones who break for attention, and the ones who command it through their actions, their mindset, and their presence. And presence doesn't mean being seen, it means being felt, even in your absence. Women remember the men who vanish more than the ones who plead. Why? Because silence is a vacuum. It creates space for doubt, for curiosity, for longing. And by the time she realizes what she lost, you'll be so far ahead in life that she'll be a distant memory, a lesson you once needed but no longer dwell on. That's the difference between a man who wins and a man who waits. One keeps looking back, the other moves. One begs for closure, the other creates it through action. One needs validation, the other embodies it. Your opportunity to step into the Stoic mindset, to embrace the philosophy that has guided powerful men for centuries. Not attachment, not desperation, but freedom. Walk away, evolve, and never look back. Number 8. She's watching, even if she pretends not to. She will never admit it. She will act like she doesn't care, like she's moved on without a second thought, as if your existence no longer affects her. She will pretend that whatever you had was just another chapter in a book she has already closed. But make no mistake, she's watching. Right now she's convincing herself that she made the right decision, reassuring herself that she had the upper hand, that you're still where she left you. But the moment she sees you thriving without her, the moment she realizes you didn't crumble, that's when the doubt creeps in. Not because she suddenly wants you back, but because she never expected you to rise without her. And curiosity, that lingering, nagging feeling, is more powerful than love. Seneca once said, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." And this is exactly what happens when men dwell in the past, hoping for validation from someone who has already moved on. What most men don't realize is that curiosity is more powerful than love. Even if she doesn't want to be with you, she still wants to know what you're doing. She still wants to be in control of the narrative, to believe that she was the best thing that ever happened to you. And when she doesn't get that validation, when she sees that you are not only surviving but thriving, it unsettles her. This is why, despite her silence, she will still check your social media. She will ask mutual friends about you. She will scroll through old pictures, searching for clues, trying to figure out why you're not broken, why you're not chasing, why you don't seem to care. And that realization, it will eat at her, because it shatters the illusion she built for herself, that you would always be affected, that she left an impact so deep that you could never truly move on. But when you move in silence, when you disappear without a word and rebuild your life on your own terms, you take that power away from her. Because here's the truth: women expect to be missed. They expect men to stay stuck, to linger in the past, to orbit around the memory of what once was. And when you don't, when you refuse to play the role she assigned you, it forces her to see you differently. This is why silence is your greatest weapon. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to post pictures trying to make her jealous. You don't need to announce your growth. You just need to keep rising. Let her wonder. Let her question. Let her feel the absence. Because absence speaks louder than words, and mystery is more powerful than explanation. A man who is always available, always responding, always reacting, he is predictable, and predictability is the death of attraction. But a man who moves with quiet strength, who doesn't seek attention, who is focused on his own evolution, he is unforgettable. Look around. How often do people obsess over those who suddenly disappear? How often do people revisit the past, looking for answers they can't find? We crave closure. We want to believe we were significant in someone's life. And when that certainty is taken away, when someone removes themselves completely, it creates a void. This is why weeks or even months from now, she will feel the urge to check in. Maybe it's a random text. Maybe it's a like on an old picture. Maybe it's a mutual friend suddenly mentioning her name out of nowhere. But it won't be a coincidence. It will be her realizing she underestimated you, that she miscalculated your strength, that she thought she left you behind, only to realize she's the one looking back. This is the essence of Stoic happiness. Not being ruled by emotions, not seeking validation, not allowing someone else's absence to dictate your presence. Stoicism today is about reclaiming your power, about recognizing that the only thing you ever needed was within you all along. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength, and this is your strength." Not seeking closure, not waiting for recognition, but owning your story and moving forward on your terms. That is what it means to win Stoic. You don't dwell, you don't chase, you don't give energy to someone who has removed themselves from your life. Instead, you level up so drastically that even if she does come back, she won't recognize the man standing before her. So, are you still waiting for her to notice you, or are you ready to move in silence? Are you still seeking closure, or are you ready to become the kind of man who never looks back? Because a high-value man does not chase ghosts. He builds his empire. He expands his mind. He strengthens his body. And he creates a life so fulfilling that the past becomes irrelevant. If you're ready to take control, if you're ready to become the man who cannot be ignored, then commit to it today. Drop a comment below, "She watches, but I don't wait." Because from this moment forward, you are no longer the man who seeks validation, you are the man who commands it without saying a single word. Number 9. You become the prize when you stop seeking approval. The moment you stop seeking approval, everything changes. Right now, she expects you to crave her validation, to be waiting for her attention, for her approval, for some kind of sign that she still cares. And as long as she believes that, as long as she knows you are waiting, you are not the prize. But the second you stop needing her, the moment you stop seeking validation from anyone but yourself, that is when you become the man she can't ignore. That is when the power dynamic shifts. This is what separates high-value men from the rest. They don't beg for approval, they embody it. They don't chase after recognition, they create a life so fulfilling that people naturally gravitate toward them. And when a man reaches this level of inner mastery, When he walks into a room with the quiet confidence of someone who has nothing to prove, that's when the tables turn. This is what Win Stoic is all about, choosing yourself instead of waiting to be chosen. But the problem is, most men don't realize this until it's too late. Because here's the truth: neediness kills attraction. It doesn't matter how good you look, how much money you make, how kind you are. If a woman senses that you need her validation, she will lose respect for you. And once respect is gone, attraction follows. Women are wired to be drawn to strength. They are naturally pulled toward the man who is unshaken, the man who moves with certainty, the man who is whole on his own. Look at the men who command attention effortlessly. They don't beg, they don't chase, they don't ask for permission to be great. They simply are. Their energy alone makes people gravitate toward them. Because they are not concerned with how they are perceived, they are too busy being the kind of men who cannot be ignored. And this is exactly what happens when you adopt the Stoic mindset. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." And that's the root of the problem for most men. They value external approval more than their own self-respect. They chase acceptance instead of radiating self-worth. They place their sense of identity in the hands of someone else, instead of realizing that real power is in mastering their own mind. But here's the secret. The second you stop needing validation, you become the validation. You become the standard. You become the prize. When you no longer seek approval, people start seeking yours. When you walk with confidence, purpose, and certainty, you become undeniable. Women don't desire the man who waits around for them. They desire the man who is too busy thriving to notice whether she's watching or not. And that is the man she regrets losing. Not the guy who waited, not the guy who tried to prove himself, but the guy who realized he never needed her approval in the first place. How many times have you caught yourself holding on to the hope that if she just saw your worth, if she just realized what she lost, she would come back? But ask yourself this: why do you need her to see your worth? Why do you need anyone to validate you? The truth is, you never needed her approval. You only thought you did. And when you release that illusion, when you finally understand that your value was never dependent on her recognition, that's when you become free. That's when you become dangerous. Because a man who no longer seeks validation is a man who cannot be controlled. This is why Stoicism today is more relevant than ever. In a world where men are constantly told they need to prove themselves, to chase, to beg for attention, true strength lies in walking away, in knowing your worth so deeply that you never need to convince anyone of it. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And what is more freeing than letting go of the need to be chosen? What is more powerful than realizing you were always enough? The men who win are the ones who don't wait. They build, they evolve, they become so focused on their own growth that everything and everyone else becomes secondary. Real men don't chase, they elevate. If you're choosing growth over waiting, type "I move forward" in the comments. Stay locked in. This journey is just getting started. Number 10, the final test of power, letting go. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the final test of power. Right now, you might feel like holding on just a little longer, keeping that door slightly open. waiting for a moment of realization where she finally sees what she lost. You tell yourself that maybe, just maybe, if you wait, if you show her that you're still there, she'll come back. But here's the truth. Real power comes from closing the door yourself. The strongest men in history weren't the ones who begged, who chased, who lingered in the shadows of the past. They were the ones who understood one of life's most powerful lessons. What is meant for them will always find them, and what isn't must be left behind. And that's what you must do now. Not for her, not as a strategy to make her miss you, but for you. Because when you hold on, you are not clinging to her, you are clinging to an illusion. And illusions keep men weak. This is the moment where you prove to yourself that you are more than just someone's second option, that your worth is not determined by someone else's decision to stay or leave. Most men never fully move on because they leave pieces of themselves in the past. They secretly hope she'll return. They keep tabs on her life, scrolling through social media, looking for hints, waiting for some cosmic sign that she was the one. They replay old memories, asking themselves what they could have done differently, as if rewriting the past in their minds could somehow change the reality of the present. But all that does is keep them stuck, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And a man who is stuck is a man who has given away his power. What is Stoicism teaches us that power lies in acceptance. Accepting that life is unpredictable, that people change, that nothing is ever truly ours to hold on to. Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." And yet, how many men waste months, even years, living in yesterday, refusing to embrace the reality of today? But the truth is, letting go is not forgetting. It does not mean that what you shared wasn't real, that the pain you felt wasn't valid. It simply means that you refuse to let the past control your future. It means taking all the lessons, all the hurt, all the growth, and using it to build something greater. And when you do, you become unstoppable. Because the moment you truly release her, the moment you stop waiting, is the moment the energy shifts. She will feel it. She may not understand it, she may not be able to explain it, but she will sense it. Why? Because people can always feel when they are no longer the center of your world. She once had the comfort of knowing that you were there, orbiting her, waiting for her next move. But when that certainty is gone, when you remove your presence so completely that she no longer knows where you stand, she is forced to question everything. And that's when the tables turn. But by then, you won't care, because your life will be too full, too powerful, too purpose-driven to ever look back. And that is the true test of high-value men, the ability to move forward without hesitation, without regret, without the need to be validated by the one who left. You won't be waiting for closure. You won't be looking for proof that she made a mistake, because the truth is, you were never losing her. She was losing you. This is the final test, the last step, the moment where you choose yourself over everything else, and not just in words, but in action. You stop checking her updates, you stop thinking of what could have been, you stop waiting for anything outside of yourself to determine your happiness. And that's when life starts working in your favor. Because the truth is, the only thing that was ever holding you back was your attachment to the past. And once you release it, once you accept that you were never meant to stay in a place that no longer serves you, you become something greater, a man who is truly free. That is what Stoic life lessons have always taught: detachment, self-mastery, and the wisdom to walk away from anything that does not elevate you. So, now the question is, Are you ready? Are you ready to step into the version of yourself that no longer waits, no longer wonders, no longer needs to be validated? Are you ready to be the man who doesn't just survive loss, but thrives because of it? Because the second you embrace this truth, the second you let go, you rise. And that is when your real life begins. If you're ready to take back your life, to step fully into your power, then let it be known. Comment below, I let go and I rise. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer a man who holds on. You are a man who moves. So now the choice is yours. Will you stay trapped in the past, waiting for someone who has already walked away? Or will you step into your power, focus on your growth, and become the kind of man who never looks back? High-value men don't dwell on what was, they build what will be. And if you're ready to choose yourself, if you're done giving energy to people who no longer deserve it, then make the decision now. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another lesson in Stoic life principles. And most importantly, drop a comment below. I choose me always, because that is the ultimate power move. Not waiting, not chasing, but choosing yourself every single time. That's what it means to win Stoic. Stay strong, stay focused, and remember, the power was always yours.